Safe income withdrawal strategies for retirement. Big topic, right? One service that we provide that is very popular with our clients is our dynamic guardrail withdrawal strategy for those in retirement or soon will be. So today, I'm going to describe how it works and how we determine how much money you can safely withdraw from your nest egg in retirement. Hey everybody, Tim Dorman with Eagle Ridge Wealth Advisors, back with you today. And if you've been researching different withdrawal strategies, you've probably heard of the 3% rule, the 4% rule, the bucket strategy, the smile strategy, and so on, maybe even the guardrail strategy. Now, there are many different methods and different ideas from studies done looking over the past 100 or 120 years or so. Why, you ask, 100 or 120 years? Well, if you think about it, before that, we really didn't retire. We just worked until we died. So only the last few generations has this even been a problem, or they have the opportunity to retire, at least as we know it today. The strategy that I like most and makes the most sense to me is the dynamic withdrawal or distribution model with guardrails. And it's based on studies performed by Jonathan Guyton and William Klinger. Many comprehensive financial advisors are going to take all of your assets, income, Social Security, and expenses, and then they're going to tell you based on these factors, you can do this in retirement, but not this in retirement, and so on. And we can model that with our retirement planning software as well. But rather than getting down into the weeds and telling you that according to this Monte Carlo simulation, you have an 87% chance of spending X amount per year in 20 years, we like to flip it around a bit and take your nest egg and give you an estimate of what we can send you monthly and or annually from that nest egg and have it last 30 plus years over the course of your retirement. Because of course, everything is going to change over time and we don't know exactly where things are going to be 5, 10, 20, or even 30 years from now, or even 6 months from now, right? And also we found that people want to know what they can spend in dollars and cents rather than being told some percentage of success. Why? Well, you can't spend a percentage, but you can spend dollars. So first, everyone has to realize that we can't guarantee any method for sure. There's simply too many variables and too much going on. Even though we can base this strategy on great studies, the future is still unknown. And that is where the guardrails come into play. Okay, how it works. If you're willing to follow a few rules, here's how our process works. We take the dynamic withdrawal model and we combine it with a guardrail process. Now, there are two things that we don't know for sure. We don't know how long your retirement is going to last, hopefully quite a while. And we don't know what the stock market's going to do, right? It's going to bounce around. But just like when you're driving your car down the road and there are guardrails, if there is a sharp curve or a cliff, well, we're going to put guardrails around your nest egg or your investments, and hopefully it stays in the middle of the road. But if it swerves and hits a rail, your investments might get dinged up a bit, but that's much better than going over the cliff, right? And if you're willing to follow a few of these rules, then you can safely withdraw between 5 and 6% typically annually, and the specific amount, of course, is going to adjust depending on your individual goals and or risk tolerance. Now, we know the investments are going to go up and down, but as long as it stays above the lower guardrail, you're all good, and we can keep sending you your monthly amount. And if it drops below the lower guardrail, usually about 20% below, and it stays there for about 5 or 6 months, then you have to be willing to tighten your belt a little bit. We're going to have to temporarily reduce your monthly distributions or withdrawals by about 10% while we let the market bounce around and hopefully come back up. Now, on the flip side, if you break through the upper guardrail, your income is going to increase. So yes, everyone likes the upper guardrail, right? Also, I often tell clients how much we can safely send them from their nest eggs, and they say, we don't need that much, so if you could just send us X, then we're good. So we often don't even send the max amount that we could to a lot of our clients. Therefore, this allows us to drop the lower guardrail considerably. They do like to know what amount we could send them, and they have that peace of mind. And then if they need it, we can always flip it on or raise the amount. Now, one of the rules with this process is that we have to have a war chest of fixed income bonds, treasuries, maybe a fixed indexed annuity, or a single premium annuity to get us through the down times, because we don't want to sell if or when the market or our investments go down. We want to have a buffer of time for it to come back up. So we're trying to avoid selling when everyone else is panic selling. As most of my clients have heard me say, panic is not a strategy. And this strategy also helps mitigate the sequence of withdrawal risk, which is the risk of taking too much money from your nest egg if it goes down too bit early on in your retirement. Because with a dynamic guardrail withdrawal model, technically you will never run out of money, because if and when the market or your investment balance goes down enough to trip that lower guardrail, your monthly withdrawals will just keep getting ratcheted down as well. For example, one of the worst times to retire in the past 100 years or so was in 1973, because there was inflation and investments were also cut in half. And if our guardrail method was used during 1973 and a little bit thereafter, you would have hit that lower guardrail 2 to 3 times, causing 2 to 3 pay cuts depending on the timing. And of course, eventually it would have gone back up and you would have gone through the upper guardrail multiple times over time. But for this to work, you have to understand statistically and historically, every 1 in 3 to 4 years, your investments are going to go down. The market does go down, and if you are maxing out your withdrawals, you will probably hit the lower guardrail a handful of times over a 30+ year retirement. But statistically, you will hit the upper guardrail even more than that. The average down market lasts about 1.5 years, and the longest since 1900 was about just shy of 8 years. So in order to weather the storm, I like to say you need at least 2 years of spending in your war chest, consisting again of the fixed income and cash. But we typically recommend a larger war chest, mainly because the future is still unknown and because of human behavior and simply getting peace of mind. Most of our clients are comfortable with a war chest that can last between 4 to 6 years. Also, one last note, everyone's investments vary depending on age, risk tolerance, Social Security, strategy, pensions, size of investment accounts, goals, etc. But the bottom line, as mentioned, in my opinion, our guardrail withdrawal strategy is the best method that I found that makes the most sense for retirement withdrawals, and it is very popular with our clients because it is a predetermined method and we aren't simply shooting from the hip if and when the proverbial you-know-what hits the fan. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Once again, Tim Dorman here, founder of Eagle Ridge Wealth Advisors, and if you would like to see how we help our clients get the most out of their financial lives in retirement, please visit us at erwealth.com, and we hope to see you there.